Okay, here we go for section 4. We're looking at two difficult topics, which are the nitrogen cycle and also the carbon cycle. So the nitrogen cycle to start. Why do we need nitrogen in the first place? The reason being is because nitrogen is required by plants to synthesize, which means make proteins. Plants can photosynthesize to produce sugars, but that's not good enough for actually construction of proteins. They need a nitrogen source. They get the nitrogen source, okay, from the soil. Now, the nitrogen is found in the air. It's the most common element found in the air. But it's not in a form which is usable by plants. So what happens is, it is converted into a far more usable form called nitrates. And there are special bacteria, okay, which can do this. There's a bacteria, and we call them nitrogen fixing bacteria. And what these do is take atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into nitrates in the soil. Okay? Once nitrates are in the soil, they're taken up by plants and formed into plant protein. The plants in turn then are eaten by animals to form animal protein. Now, inevitably, all animals and plants die. All animals and plants excrete. So when they die, remember the rhyme, dead and dying, nitrifying. Because they form ammonia, and then the ammonia is converted into nitrates by nitrifying bacteria. So remember, dead and dying, nitrifying, nitrogen fixing from the air. Now, in the soil, if the soil is very compact, such as if it's been flooded or it hasn't been ploughed, all the oxygen in the soil has been removed, which means you get another type of bacteria growing, which is not so good for us. This one is called denitrifying bacteria. And what denitrifying bacteria do, they convert nitrates in the soil back into nitrogen gas in the air. This is disastrous for farmers because it means that the yield of their crop will decrease. Yield simply means the amount of product that they can form from this process. So that is the nitrogen cycle. To recap, we have three bacteria to remember. Nitrogen fixing bacteria, which take nitrogen gas from the air and convert it into nitrates. Dead and dying, nitrifying bacteria, which convert ammonia into nitrates. Nitrates can be taken up by plants to be used for proteins. These are eaten by animals and then they move throughout the food chain. The second cycle to remember is called the carbon cycle. Now, the easy way to remember the carbon cycle is that only one of the arrows, technically speaking, goes downwards. Okay? The arrow going down from the sky is photosynthesis, because plants can take up carbon dioxide from the air and build it into plant biomass. Okay? So they use it for photosynthesis. Here. Now, all living things, every single thing which is alive, respires. When we respire, we release carbon dioxide back into the air again. So from all living parts of the carbon cycle, there's going to be an arrow going back to the sky. And this is respiration. Okay? Now, over millions of years, these animals and plants could potentially form what we call fossil fuels. These fossil fuels are burnt, which releases it back into the air. This is called combustion. And again, that puts carbon dioxide back into the air. So we have respiration from all living things, releasing carbon dioxide back into the air, and combustion from fossil fuels, releasing carbon dioxide back into the air. If you think about it, over the last 100 years, the amount of fossil fuels we've burnt, okay, has increased the carbon dioxide levels in the air to massive, massive, unprecedented levels. And this, of course, is then leading to the phenomenon of global warming. And that is the carbon cycle.